guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm here in person, finally. Feeling very awkward, first time on camera, jitters, no script, wanted to keep it real, probably should have wrote a script because I'm already rambling and we're 1 second in. But I'll keep this short and sweet. I'll do like an introduction tag or vlog or something in the future, but today I just wanted to dip my toe in being on camera, introduce myself. I want you guys to introduce yourselves. If you have channels, put them below so I can check them out. We can get to know each other and start building a community here on YouTube. But I'll keep it at that because I know some people want to see the painting. And today I did a Dutch pour, which is very similar to the acrylic pours that I've done, but instead of tilting the canvas, you use a hairdryer to blow it out. Sometimes it looks like petals. It's very beautiful. This is my first time doing it, so I need a little more practice, but I learned a lot, and I'll tell you guys some tips and techniques that will help you out maybe if you're going to try it for the first time. So stick around and check that out. How'd I do?
One take. Let's get it.
What? Okay, just cut. Okay, welcome back to your regularly scheduled voiceover here. So I'm mixing up the paint here. If you want to see a video where I talk more about the recipe of doing this, I'll link that above. But the recipe is the same amount of paint and Floetrol and then twice the amount of water. I did make it a little more runny this time because I thought that that would be better for the blow dryer, but I think that you should just keep it the same with that same recipe that I did in the other video, because having it thicker would be a little bit better for this project. It did work out well in the end, but just so you know, you do want the same thickness as when you're doing the acrylic pouring for this project. So if you see mine's a little more runny, don't think you need to do that. I was just kind of testing it out a little bit. And this was my first time doing it, so I learned along the way. I think the next time that I do this Dutch pour, I might actually even try making it a little thicker, but I haven't tested that, so you'll have to see in my next video how that works out. Here I'm adding a little more Floetrol because I'm trying to make it a little thicker. You can see in the corner I have a cup of white paint, and that is the thinner paint that you put on first to cover the whole canvas. So I made quite a bit more of that because I wanted to have enough to cover the whole canvas, where with the colors you don't need to make quite as much. So here you can see the canvas and you can see the paint run and how liquidy it is. You want to make sure that the entire canvas is covered and that it has a thick enough amount that if you were to blow it with a blow dryer, it will be enough to move around. Then you're just going to pour a little spot of your paint in the corner. This is the first one I did, and it didn't quite turn out the way that I was expecting as my second one did once I kind of learned a little bit more of what I was doing. And this canvas was so small that I should have used a lot less paint here. So that's just something to remember. You can see the way that the purple is kind of bleeding out, that I think that's because there's too much water in the white mixture. So like I said, this was the first one that I did, and it's way too liquidy and I put way too much paint. So I learned from those mistakes when I did the second one, and I thickened up all the mixtures and I used a lot less paint. And you're gonna see here that I immediately didn't do the correct thing where you blow the white over the paint before you even blow it out. So I tried to go back and do that, and then it kind of just mixed in with the colors a little bit. So I tried to correct my mistake and I kept adding paint. And I really was just learning on this first board here, this first canvas. There's really not much more to say about this canvas here because I told you what the mistakes are. And with the Dutch pour, once you do it, once you blow it out the first time, you really can't go back and add more because then it just kind of becomes almost like a regular acrylic pour. because you lose like the simpleness of the what almost looks like petals. You'll see that in the second one, what I'm talking about, especially here when I go back with the white. Then the corners of the canvas are covered, which you don't have usually in a Dutch pour. So I'll just let the rest of this one play so you can kind of see where I'm playing around and trying to understand how this works. And then we'll get into the second canvas where I think I really nail it a bit more for my first time at least. So I'll let the rest of this one play out. Once I blew it out the very first time and I realized that I kind of made some mistakes, I kind of just started playing around and trying to learn how it worked. And at this point I realized there's no going back. You really have to get it right on the first go. So I decided I'd get a fresh canvas, a little bit larger, and I would thicken up all of my mixtures. So here we go with what I would consider to be an actual Dutch pour. You cover the whole canvas in the white paint. Make sure it's thick everywhere and the corners are covered and everything. Then you take your mixtures, make sure they're thick enough and don't add too much down in the bottom corner. I think the next time I do this, I'm gonna add a metallic in there, maybe a gold, because I think that really adds a lot to the painting. A lot of the Dutch pours I've seen have one metallic in there just to add a little bit of extra, you know, for whatever you want to call it. Okay, so here I immediately started off a little bit better because I did the right thing where you blow the white over the colors first and then you blow them out. You can see how that white like mixes in with the color when you blow it over like that. Now right here is where you would stop if you wanted them to be separate areas that look like flower petals, but I wasn't going for that look, so I just continued to blow it out. And I didn't mind that my sections started to come together like right there. I kind of brought them together a bit because that was more of the vibe of what I was going for. If you were using different colors maybe, or you wanted it to look like a flower, you want to make sure your sections stayed more separate. The purple that I used for this actually has metallic in it, so once it's dry and you look at it in person without these bright lights on it, you can actually see that shimmer throughout almost the entire piece. It's really beautiful and I love the way it turned out. I love doing abstract artwork. It really just relaxes me and inspires me, and I think this is so beautiful. I'm definitely going to be doing more Dutch pours in the future, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss those videos. Thanks for watching!